Good evening, good evening. Hi. Happy New Year. Welcome, welcome. Good to see you. Mrs. B, good to see you. I like all these early people. Welcome. Please tell your friends to join. Can you guys hear me clearly? Oh, hi. Rejoice. Rejoice was part of my technical team tonight. Thank you so much. If not for Rejoice, I would have been in the dark. But at least now I look like I'm somewhere bright. Awesome. Happy New Year. Happy New Year. Good to see you. I'm waiting for our guests. This year, we're not waiting for people to join our live. As soon as it's time, we go live. That's it. I'm just waiting for our guests to join. Tonight is going to be really, really special. We're going to have a very important conversation, the conversation that we don't have often. I know I wanted to go and wear the red lipstick, but it's been a long day. It's been a long day. Thank you for understanding. Oh, our guest is here. So we're gonna get started now. Please go and invite your friends. Invite the people that you love for this conversation. So I'm gonna bring Seun up. Seun, I don't know if you can request to join. Let me go live with you. Guest is here. Welcome, welcome. Hey!
Success!
Yay! Seun is here. Success. Good news. Awesome, awesome, Seun. This one you wanted.
It's work from home now. It's work from home, fully kitted.
I'm so happy to see you. And I thank you for finally agreeing to have this conversation with me. I have tried so many times, but I can't think of a better platform for this conversation but the Covenant University Alumni Association platform, which is the platform that actually gifted you to me, right? So it's really beautiful to have you here. We're gonna get started immediately. I know it's 1 hour, but we don't really have that much time. So let's get going. For everyone who's here, invite people that you know will benefit from having a real conversation around what, detours and ups and downs in career, in life, in business, just so that they know they're not alone and it will end in stories. I think that's the summary of this whole story. So why did we want to have this conversation? At the beginning of every year, we have plans and aspirations and goals. And sometimes those things don't pan out as we expect. And there's a temptation to just give up. I can't kill myself, I beg. We move to something else, or we even move away completely from that path. And there's been a discussion last week about planning your career and planning all of that. But what happens when the line is not straight? What happens when your 10-step goal does not come to pass? Or, you're leaving Covenant University, you've written all this, your life vision, 10-year vision, 5-year vision, 20-year vision. And the vision is not visioning. This is not
when
what
I see
saw.
what I saw.
What I saw. When I see what I saw, I have not seen what you saw. How do you navigate that season? And that's what we want to talk about today. So I'd really encourage people to go invite their friends and people that they know. But for those of you who don't know Seun, let me read our bio for you. Oh, I brought computer out for this. Where is the bio? Should I read the long one or the short
Whatever
one?
you want.
Which one do you want?
Kemi. Yeah, the driver's seat. Yes,
I will put my jar
you.
on top of it. All right, so Seun Agbede-Olafusi is the global head of people for Branch International, a San Francisco-based fintech with over 250 employees that are operating in Nigeria, Kenya, Tanzania, and India. She global. She started her career at Zenith Bank. Yeah, we were actually both Zenith Bank alum. One of the largest banks in Nigeria before moving on to build the people function in startups such as Softcom, another koala organization, and Uber before joining Branch. She's an economics graduate from Covenant University, CBS people, Eco people. I want to hear you in the section. And she's a senior certified professional by the Society for Human Resource Management globally. Please join me in welcoming Seun Agbede-Olafusi.
Thank you, Kemi.
Okay, so Seun, before we get started, I know we've broken the ice, but let me break whatever ice is left. I want us to play a quick game of this or that. And then you tell me which one you prefer. Don't overthink it. Just pick. So,
hey, God.
Bolly.
Can I say neither?
What?
Actually, neither.
Okay,
I'll do Bolly because that's fun.
You have to pick one. I was going to say if it's not Bolly, we end the live.
Hallelujah challenge. I like to. Hallelujah challenge.
Okay. Tea or coffee?
All kinds of tea. Tea anytime, any day. Yeah.
Okay. Braids or weave? And don't say no. Pick one. Braids or weave?
Yeah.
Braids. Okay. Incompetent boss or disrespectful
boss? Yeah, because I can feel it. I can feel it for an incompetent boss, but a disrespectful one, nah.
Okay. Incompetent team member or rude team member?
Okay, so I should not overthink it. So rude team member. Rude. Rude
team member. Okay.
Mainland
or island?
Mainland.
Mainland or island? Mainland. If you were going to Japan,
Canada.
UK or Canada?
I have family there. I haven't. Not yet. We're still enjoying this Lagos together.
I said, let me use that question to try to see.
We're still enjoying Lagos together.
We're still enjoying Lagos together. Okay. I see a lot of people are picking root team members. Interesting. Okay. Final question.
I'm sure even you know the answer to that. If I pick both, my phone will just go off straight. Fun fact, since I left Uber, I haven't even been able to download any other ride hailing app. Imagine. So yeah. Uber.
Uber. Okay. Now that Uber you'll be waiting 10 years before they come.
I wait.
Please,
wait.
It's just that you wait.
For my peace of mind.
Okay, you cannot use Uber in emergency in Lagos.
Yes.
Your peace of mind. Okay. They did not pay us, so I don't want to do advertisement for them on this platform. So let's get into the conversation. Thank you. So now you guys know that Seun likes plantain with a side of tea. And she will be on Hallelujah challenge. You can see her there. You will not see her in the morning. It's about to get Jessica. Anu. Don't choose violence. It's a new year. All right. So I think before we even start asking you questions, I want you to just talk about your journey, right? We've introduced you. You know why you're here. So don't tell us about your journey from when you left Covenant University in 2007. I know we both graduated together. Yeah, it's been that long. Tell us about your journey so far, and then I'll dig into specific parts of that journey. Tell us about yourself, your journey.
Thanks again. Thanks to everyone who has joined. Thanks, Kemi. We're finally doing this. My first IG live session. So, as you know, I'm a storyteller, so I'll try to make the story sweet small. Finished in 2007, so that's almost 16 years ago. Um, got my first job right from school. We were I don't know if we still do it now, but we were very privileged at that time. Companies would come to school and offer us jobs. So got my Zenith job from school, served at Zenith, was retained, and then I got married in 2010. Um, got pregnant, and I'm one of those people with very difficult pregnancies. So I have two kids, and with both pregnancies, I stopped working. Very difficult pregnancies. So I stopped working in 2010, had my baby, and I just thought it would be easy, get back to work. I'd never had to look for a job. It came to me on a platter of gold, straight out of school. Ah, year one, no job. Year two, no job. Year three, no job. Um, and I wasn't used to it's like I wasn't used to that because through primary school, secondary school, uni, I didn't have issues like, you know, in quotes, I was a scatterer. So I wasn't used to not getting what I wanted.
Wait. Pause. Guys, what was your CGPA when you graduated? So that people will know that it's not CPA 2.20 and it was a strong. Tell us your CGPA.
I had a 4.41 CGPA and I
please.
studied economics in school.
4.41. I'm sure it was one annoying B that did not even allow you
accounting,
to
to be
finish in first
precise,
class. One annoying B somewhere.
came to bite me in the
Accounting.
behind. Yes. So yeah, finished with 4.41. And so this was something I wasn't used to. So it was a really difficult period. Let me say I have just high functioning, super successful friends. There was not one friend that I had that was job searching. All my friends. So you can imagine being surrounded with the likes of people like Kemi. All my friends, Kemi, Mimi, Shola. Hey, all of them just.
That stray bullet go just come jam me. Please, I'm the interviewer. Don't add me
So I have friends that were doing well. And I would just be like, these are my people now. What's happening? And to be honest, everyone was trying. It just wasn't working for 3 years. Hey God, it was a very difficult period for me. But after that, things opened up. Thanks to the CU, to the CU platform. Let me say that every job that I have had has been connected to CU, every single job. Like there's not one that was not by a CU connection. Every single job that I have had has been connected to CU. And one of my friends, she, through her connection, I got a job, and it's been it's been amazing since then. So I started working in aviation. I did that for a while, got pregnant, and then again had to stop working. Then I had a break. I'll just try to say all of the stories so that you can pick questions from in there. And then I think that was the first time we were going to do election for Kuala president. And I was on the electoral committee. I went to school then, if you remember, Kemi, and that was where I met Yomi. Yomi and I were friends in school. And we just got talking, and I said, I was looking to get back to work. I had my second child. At that time, I knew it was padlock, lock, key, throw away in the ocean. Yes, I was.
God still has twin girls for you. So Seun has two boys. I feel like
no, now Kemi, why will you say that? Why? So this time I was ready for my career. I was just like, I'm not about that have a kid, stop anymore. So I wanted to face my career head on. And I joined Softcom. So that again, like I said, see you connect. After Softcom, again there was a waiting period. So this was my second waiting period. So I had two waiting periods. And then there was a waiting period, and I was also, just very depressed, 2 kids. But in that time I was volunteering. I love teaching. I love teaching. So I used to teach maths and English in public schools. So there was one in my estate where I would just go give my time, talent, everything. The kids loved me because I was not like, their regular wicked teachers. I would bring treats, treats.
Assault teacher.
I would
Ajebota
bring treats
teacher.
to school, teach them in very loving ways, and it was a great time for me because I got to do something that I enjoyed doing. I also joined United for Change or United for Education, one of those two things. Yeah, through Mimi, and I was teaching somewhere in Ikeja also. So I had two schools I was teaching during that period, and then CU alumni organized a prayer session. It was happening somewhere around Ojuelegba, so I can't remember. Yeah. Yeah.
Yeah, it was
Yes,
when Eagles pray. It was
yes.
Pastor
And
Akiakipelu's
I
church.
just felt
Yes,
like I needed it
yes.
at that time. Reginald, sent it to me. I asked him where he was, and then on that day, that Saturday, I drove to using Google Maps. I went back to my chat with Reginald in that in I think this was 2016, sometime around August or so. I drove around for like 2 hours trying to locate this place. I could not find it.
It
Yes,
was on
Google Map
that one
took
bridge
me
like this.
to, like I wrote in my message to Reginald, depths unknown. I was just going round and round and round for the duration of the prayer, 2 hours, and I was going round and round, just driving, looking for that place. I was exhausted. And when I finally decided to go back home, I was like, they would have finished. Police caught me under the bridge. And they said I was not supposed to turn there. So I was just crying. Of course, I was exhausted. I was crying. I was showing them my Google Maps and telling them, Google Maps told me to pass this place. They told me to give them money. I did not give them money because I don't know how to give money to people, to policemen specifically. But when I got home, I sent Reginald a message, and I was just like, the devil is a liar. I spent 2 hours trying to get this particular prayer meeting, and I couldn't get it. But I know that I tap into the anointing and all of the prayers and all of that. And he called me the next day, and we talked. Reginald, I don't think I ever spoke to Reginald when we were in school, but he's been such a great influence, since I left school. And then we talked, and I think like a month after, he called me and said I should send my CV. That someone had just randomly asked him if there was any Igbo looking for a job, and I sent it to him. A few days later, Uber called me. I went through the interviews, and I started my job at Uber.
Hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it, hold it. Because let me tell you why I say you should hold it. Because that Uber journey is a different journey entirely. And I want to just, for people that are just joining, let me recap some of the things that you've shared. And interestingly, even though we're friends, we're sisters, this is the first time I'm hearing some of these things. So it's not as if we even talked about it. This is the first time I'm hearing about some of these things. To start with, I didn't know that every job you've had has been connected to Covenant University and Koala. And that's a very powerful, powerful thing, because when we talk about community, they just say, they've come again. They just want to collect this. I'm sure you know. I will come to you later. I will come and address your matter later. We're not trying to collect dues. It's just that there's power in community. There is power in community. See all this, series of events. If you did not, and then it's not just community of being there. Yes, as you are there, you will receive from the overflow of everything that's happening. But it's even more powerful when you give and you volunteer to a community. See what you said. You got connected to Softcom because you went to campus to volunteer for something. Call for a good summit. I get coconut egg. I will not come. We will organize bus. Organize everything. Put snacks in the bus. Everything. In fact, interestingly, last Eagle Summit, Exco wanted to knock my head because they said the bus was empty. We organized these buses and people didn't come. When we ask people to come for these things, it's not just because we want to fill the seats, because we know that great things happen when Eagles get together. Your next business partner, your destiny helper, the person who's going to connect you to your next opportunity, or the person that you will support might be waiting for you there. There is so much power in community. So as you were volunteering, you met somebody and then you got that opportunity, right? The person who connected you with your aviation job was your classmate in school that you stayed in touch with. There's so much power in community. It was in the middle of, if you were not trying to find that prayer gathering, you would have no reason to speak to Reginald. By the way, Reginald was for those of us who don't know, Reginald was the president of Koala, my predecessor, the one who was the president just before I got elected in 2019. Right? You would not have ranted to him. You would not have had any reason to talk to him. But because you were connecting into the community, you found the things that you were looking for, even though it didn't look like it. And I think those things are powerful. The other thing that I want to talk about is, you mentioned a few opportunities, and I know the people that connected you to those opportunities. Those were your friends in school. In the time, and you said something, you said, all your friends, high-flying friends, nobody was job searching. Even the people who at that time were having babies as well were going back to work. They were not struggling. Why didn't you cut off your friends? Because now what happens is, once people are not, if people feel like their friends are not at the same level as them, they feel they're a little behind, there's a real temptation to cut off, because you don't want to keep reminding yourself of what you don't have, or what you're still aspiring to, in the name of protecting your peace, maintaining your sanity and whatnot. Why did you stay with your friends? Why did you not cut us off? And how were you able to deal with the fact that everybody was getting promoted and doing things and you were waiting? I really want to. I've never asked you. I've actually never asked you. So I want you to talk about it and be very honest. I like the fact that you've been vulnerable and honest so far. But tell us how did you stay in those circles?
So I think the first thing I would say is I built very genuine friendships. I'm just so grateful. I think I'm one of the lucky ones, but I built genuine friendships. So I didn't build friendship for what I could get. I didn't build those friendships for, in fact, some of them. I think I saw a meme recently, and I sent it to Mimi, where they said something around, some of your best friends today are people that you probably hated at some point, or you thought were forming at some point. And that was how we became friends in CU. How did I become friends with Kemi? We were both wing refs. I think I was wing rep for wing A, and you were wing rep for wing B. And then we would study together, pray together, and that's how we became friends. So I built very genuine friendships. And I was just lucky that the kind of friends that I had were people who were, they would motivate me. They would share things with me. They would send me jobs. So I saw the care. I saw the love. I saw that these people wanted me to succeed. That's one part. The other part is I need to thank my parents. So growing up, I was just a very self-aware, confident child. Like I said, I never had to struggle with my grades or anything. My mom is a teacher, and so there was no choice. You just had to be good. And so I grew up that way, very confident. And I'm trying to do the same for my kids. So I was confident in who I was. I knew that I had what it took, and that it was just a matter of time. That's not to say that there weren't sad periods, but even in those sad periods, I had friends encourage. Kemi would come. All of them were on the island, and I was staying in Ajawa Estate. Kemi would come to my house. Shola would come to my house. Mimi would come, and they were just very Shay, all of them, Busayo, they're the ones that will say, you have this job, okay, you don't have what to wear, come and take this, So I built genuine friendships. My background, my family background was great. That really helped me because, I grew up just very confident and self-aware and just knowing what I carried. And CU helped a great deal also, So I would say the first thing really was just building those very genuine friendships. And so I knew that I didn't have to worry about anything.
Thank you, Seun. And
Reginald, I'll call your name.
Reginald, I'm sure your ear was ringing where you were. Good to see you. Seun had literally where we stopped in the story was where you connected her to the Uber job. So the reason I'm just going to explain. Yes, it's a career conversation, but it's really a life conversation. Waiting happens in career, in life, in business. Waiting is no respect of persons, right? So it doesn't matter. These principles apply regardless of where you are in your journey. So Reginald sent your CV and you got invited for the Uber job.
Like Kemi said, another story.
Tell us about that.
So I got invited for the job, asked the interviews. I think even in my wait period, the only thing was I used to for me, it was always, if I get through this hurdle, and I get to interview stage, then, Kemi, I used to talk about, that bank. Oh God, that's one failure story. Sometime we'll get to it.
Let me write it down so I will not forget.
And so I got the offer and I was like, what is this? I was just like, no. The role was office manager.
What was the role?
And I was just like, hey, after doing HR lead in 2 previous places and thinking about the salary that that I had gotten from those places, and then this new offer came. Uber was new in Nigeria then. There wasn't any structure, and so they wanted someone to just come in, put structure. We had marketing, head of marketing, you had AB, who was the country manager, you had some of all of those key people, but there wasn't really any structure in place. And so they wanted someone to come and do that. And I was just like, what kind of title is this? So I got so stuck on the title, and I was just like, office manager. What was office manager? How can I go from HR lead to office manager? Again, my community. You people, if there's anything you take away today, build an amazing, phenomenal community. And so I talked to my friends. I had friends who were already, I had maybe it was HR madam in BAT. I had, the Kemis at the McKinseys, and I had Shayo. I remember going to Shayo's house in Maryland then, and just talking about this opportunity. And Shayo was like, Seun, I can't forget. And I say it to people today. She's like, it's a leg in the door. It's a leg in the door. Like, what you've been praying for a job. There's this job now. It may not look like what you want, but like, think about the brand. Think about what you can do. The role or the title may seem like that's not what you want, but just go and prove yourself, and before you know it, title will change. Title is just, that's what's on paper. Like you said, they don't have any structure yet, so they're just putting something there for you. So it's a leg in the door, and that was what I took. It's a leg in the door. And so I accept, and I said, if there's anything else that you want, just renegotiate those things. So I renegotiated a few things, and then I accepted the offer, and I started at Uber. And it's not like it's the my husband is not here. Apart from getting married to my husband, I was going to say it's the best decision. I don't want you to hear that. Best career.
And give me your life.
So let me put it in a bucket. Best career decision. Best career decision ever. Just, it's a leg in the door, and things just took off from there.
Oh, thank you for sharing, Seun. It is a leg in the door. Just get a leg in the door. I know that Uber job felt like a demotion.
Yeah,
it felt like a demotion at the time, and it's not as if the money was great at that time, but it was a leg in the door, and you went in, and then you kicked the door open, you broke the door down,
what the door was made of even.
what the door was made of, brought your table inside, brought your chair. You didn't sit at the table, you brought your table, you brought your chair, and you sat down in the building full time.
Yes.
Amazing. So, if at that point it was underemployment, let us not lie, let us not steal. It was underemployment. I think at some point, Steph, it almost felt like at some point you were like a receptionist.
So it was like, we don't have
office manager person.
We don't, this roles that they're like, we're a lean team, so you're doing everything. Yes.
You did.
No, there's nothing.
What did you not do?
There was nothing that I didn't do.
You were training drivers at some point. You were a receptionist at some point. How did that experience, what did it do for you? One, and what are the things that you did that then, allowed you break the door and begin to build your own table, your own chair, and really now accelerate your career?
So I'll use Bible verses. We are proper children now. The Bible says, "Seest thou a man diligent in his business?" And that was just it. Papa used to say that a lot, while we were in school. Just be diligent. And I took that and I ran with it. I'd had, some previous experiences, and I knew that this was an opportunity that I didn't want to, that I didn't not want to miss, that I didn't want to mess up. And so when I joined Uber, I did everything. I would never complain. Even people that, in my mind, I'm like, hey, God, see, these ones were probably still in primary school when I was living. I did everything and I did it well. No complaints. Nothing was beneath me. Nothing was too much for me to do. It was great. In 6 months, the title I was worried about changed. My responsibilities changed. My money changed. In fact, the year before I left, my comp changed like 3 different times. When when AB was leaving, she was like, before I leave, I need to make some changes. She did that. I had a new manager. When the new manager came, she was like, I need to make some changes. So it was just, when people see the value that you bring, all of those things that you think mattered, they really did. You would find out that those things don't even matter. The title did not matter at the end of the day. I was not doing office manager job. I was doing every single thing, and I was doing it diligently. And there was no, this is how much you're paying me, so this is how much I will give. Sometimes people do that. You're paying me 15 naira, so you get 15 naira value. I put in 15 naira effort. Or in fact, I put in 14 naira effort. The remaining 10 naira is for all of the stress. I wasn't doing that. I was just putting in my best. And then I was learning on the job. I was doing every and anything. And then I was making changes as well. Because, like I said, there was no structure. And, there were some changes with regards to, some people's employment, their own compensation, their own titles, all of those challenges that I faced coming in. I was able to make recommendations and I was able to change that, before I left. As at the time I was leaving, it was fully functional. When I was sent emails, when I was leaving, including my director from SSA, when I was reading those messages, I was like, even me, I did not know I was working like this. So since all these days, but it was such a good experience, and I wouldn't trade, my experience at Uber for anything, because I think that formed the foundation for, all of the work that I was then able to do at Branch.
Thank you, Seun. I want to reverse back small. I remember at some point during that wait, you said you wanted to go into business.
Even I forgot.
Do not forget. I reviewed business plan. So,
oh God,
what was going on? What was happening in your head at the time? Because I can also understand that, you're like, well, I'm trying for a job, it's not happening. Maybe I should start a business. It's a very logical decision to make. How did you think about it?
It was desperation. The only thing that led me to was desperation. I was desperate. I was like, let me just do something. My husband will go out in the morning, come back. My child will sit at home and see me morning till night. See, finish has entered this thing. let me do something. It was pure desperation. And I knew. So I will tell you a few things. In fact, I set myself up for failure from the get-go. So this is the story. I used to travel a lot. And you go because you yourself you're not anymore. So it's the upkeep that they give you. You try to find the best places to enter. So I'll enter Ross, I'll enter Marshalls, I'll enter, all those places where I can still find nice things, but at a discount. And I was like, it's not that I'll just travel, go, come back, eating somebody's money, and there's nothing I'm doing. Why not? Whenever you travel, buy some stuff and then come and sell. So first mistake was, it was just desperation. Now, desperation, it can be, sometimes pressure can make you succeed. But for me, I did not really sit down. Even the Bible says, have you seen anybody that wants to build house? You first sit down and count the cost, right? I did not sit down to count the costs. I did not sit down to think anything that has to do with physical stress, count me out. My friends know me. What you call whether pepperless or botti, not botti because I'm botti, but botti because I cannot handle physical stress. Anything that is not mental stress, just count me out. I'm the kind of person that would find something I like. Maybe I like this dress Kemi is wearing. I'll buy it in 7 colors for 7 days. I don't have to go from store to store. So for someone who is like that, I don't like shopping. My style is comfort, wear t-shirts, wear jeans, wear sneakers. You're good to go anywhere. Cut your hair, exactly.
Cut your hair.
Don't do makeup. Anything that requires effort, I would not do it. And then I decided to go and start selling. I will now buy dresses. So of course, number one, from the beginning, I will buy dresses in sizes around my own. So size US size 4, US size 6. I told myself if I don't sell it, I will wear it. From the get-go, imagine having that kind of mindset. So from the get-go, I'll say, okay, just...
Cheryl, Professor Zidomi will be very disappointed in you. After all the EDS entrepreneurial development studies
Kemi,
taught you.
You said I should say the truth now, so I'm being very honest. So that's what I was doing.
Sorry.
I would buy things in my own style. So my kind of t-shirts or like my kind of jeans, there was nothing to it. So I would then bring it if I don't sell it, and then I would only advertise to my community. I Kemi will buy only Karen Ubani, so Kemi was not buying my Ross clothes.
Karen had not even come by that
shade you small. I know.
By the way.
So I didn't even have people I was selling. I didn't have anyone else I was really selling to. And my husband still teases me till today. He said, that working capital that I gave you for your business, you've not paid. I was like, I didn't even see the car. Not to talk of capital, not to talk of profit. It was, but I tried it. At least now I know what not to do next time. And I know the kind of things not to go into. Anything that is maybe if I choose to leave my 9 to 5, it will probably be a business service. Sorry, a service that I will be rendering. I will not be doing buying and selling.
Did you even want to do small talk sometime?
Oh God, I've forgotten that. Yes, I went and I learned from an ego. I went to learn how to do different types of drinks, mocktails and cocktails. I only make those things in my house today. At least the knowledge is not wasted. But I never did it for anyone.
I like that. You were not idle. You didn't sit idle. You exactly. You said that does not like cooking. Say small chops, catering.
I can see the people that know me in the
comments. That's why I said don't bother lying.
Yeah. So if you want to do something,
So yes, you were desperate in that time. And you didn't, not all your choices were the right choices. That's what I'm hearing. But you learned, and then from that you learned.
I have. One way I've even applied it to my job. Even though I'm in HR, I hate in fact I detest CV writing. people say, but you're in HR. I can't write CVs.
That's why you've never volunteered for civic clinic. I've been thinking about it.
Yes.
This
So
girl
I
has
could
never
volunteer, but
volunteered
I know
for
it's not
civic
something that
clinic.
I like doing. And because I've tried it before where, I ventured into things that I didn't like and it did not end well. The only thing I did then that I enjoyed was the teaching, That's that one I knew and I put my heart and my soul into it. And I had my students pass their exams and all of that. So yeah. So I tried to. Kemi, you brought back memories that I had forgotten about.
No, I think it's very, very important. It's very important. You mentioned that at some point you were depressed, or at multiple points along the journey. How did you manage, that season? How did you manage? How did you keep your joy? Yes, the joy went away, but it came back. How did you manage through that season? Because depression can make you really tired, right? And to apply for a job, it takes energy. So how are you able to, even in that whole thing, just get yourself up, get yourself going, and do all these things like try to make small chops and cocktail and sell and all these many things you were doing? How were you able to get yourself together? Because it might not be unemployment for some people. It might be, relocation to a new place, and it's it's just a lot for you, right? It could be moving somewhere in the winter. It could be unexpected layoffs. I'm sure we came into the year and there were so many layoffs announced globally. It could even be just queuing for fuel in Lagos, or in Nigeria. How do you get yourself back up to be able to do the things that you need to do to get yourself out of that rut?
Let me give you my political answer first. I had my kids. They made me happy. I had my husband. I had my friends. It's a lie. Some days I'll just be like, it's because I wanted to have a baby that I stopped working. Those days would come. Those days would come. Other times, of course, I'm thanking God for all of the blessings, blah blah blah. But I think, like I said, and I think this is a theme that's across all of my responses. My community, they never let me really sit down to think about it. So even when I think about it, they were always there to encourage me. I also got myself busy. Like I said, I was doing volunteer work. In the time I was waiting, I wrote professional exams. I was like,
Is it just me or the show freeze?
okay, sorry.
I can hear you now. Yeah. Devil is a
The
liar.
call came in and I have do not disturb turned on. I'm not sure what happened.
Okay.
Yeah, so I was like, at least if you'll be asking me, what were you doing in your gap year? I can show you my professional certifications to let you know that, this is what I was doing in my gap year, and not just say I was taking care of my children. So I had tangible proof to show that, okay, here is how I was upskilling myself in the period of waiting. So I did that.
Please, who is this phone call that is? Who is this phone call?
Who this person is that is trying to call me? How else do you do not disturb?
Maybe the person is
VIP
VIP.
call. Yeah, so I was
So to stay
volunteering.
engaged, you were volunteering, you were doing professional exams,
Yeah,
you
I was
you
keeping
had
myself,
things
just to keep
that kept
myself
you
sane.
occupied.
Otherwise it would have just been, crazy. So that's what I was doing.
Okay. Okay, so we're about 15 minutes to the end, and I don't want to take all the airtime. I want people to also ask questions. So please use the Q&A box to ask your questions so we can get more insight from Seun. while we are waiting for that, you talked about how you were really diligent in all the things that you were doing. Was it only performance that made you go? Like,
Oh,
what
performance
else?
care.
What else? Is it just
No,
that you are doing your work, and then your bosses now saw you and say, what a diligent one.
I
What
wish,
else
I
did you
wish,
do
I wish.
beyond
Again, I
diligence?
think I've been very lucky to have amazing managers, at least from when I was at Uber. And even though I've never had a formal, coach or mentor, any of those things, but I have leveraged my managers. I think it's Uber. I've only had female managers, funny enough. I was thinking about it recently. I've only had female managers, and they have, yes, no,
Then
Kemi.
they're not
No,
witches.
it was one of my managers from
Hey, please, somebody
That's why
help
when
me,
people say those things, I'm
pin
like, I
it.
know you people. I don't know who you are meeting. No, I've only had female managers since I've been at Uber, and I've had a number of them, and they have been amazing. I owe a lot to them. My branch job, I got.
Which scripture do you use to pray for your bosses? Share the scripture.
My
So we
branch
can
job
be
was
using it
also
to
a
pray.
CU alumni who we worked together at Uber, and then became the country manager of branch. And when they needed someone in HR, she was just like, I need to poach Seun from Uber. And that's how I got the branch job. So I have been very lucky to have good managers, and I have leveraged that. So that's the first thing. The second thing is visibility. I learned that very, very early in my career. I know that a lot of people say it, but it's true. Let me just tell you people. Don't be those people that will say, I just want to,
How did you do
I
it?
will let my work speak for me. Say, lie. You have to speak for yourself. Everyone else does well themselves. It does not have mouth to
The work
talk.
does not have mouth.
And you know that
What
you
will
have
you
some
say?
people in this life, their own is to grab other people's work and showcase it as their own. So if you are doing the work and you allow other people take the glory for your work, nobody will know you are the one. Even if you are trying to take the glory for my work, I will find a way to. So when you ask a question, I'll just say, yes, like Kemi said, when we were working on Project X together, I was I was the one that went to see President Olusegun Obasanjo. I had a conversation with him. I will put it in so that he will know that, oh, this is the person that was actually doing the job, not Kemi that gave us, because I will give you details, and then you know that I was the one that actually did the job, not the person that just gave you summary about the job. So visibility is super important. I'm not talking about, doing, what's the English word? Not bootlicking.
I of the world. I service.
Yes, you have to be doing the work and then be visible. You
and
have
talking
to talk
about the
about
work
it.
that you're
People need
doing.
to know that you're doing it. Don't be a backbencher. If you used to be a backbencher in school, don't be a backbencher in your career. You have to be visible, because if you're not visible, when the time comes for them to make decisions, they will forget you because you're not top of mind for them. I am always top of mind for my managers because I am in their faces. How do you do that? Communicate. Some people never communicate. They don't communicate. Why will you not communicate? So you are given a task. You finished it, in fact, and then you submit it, but you not tell your manager that you have done it. Why? Why are you doing that? So you have to communicate. You have to be visible. You have to talk, and make sure that people know that you are doing this. Another thing is response. Your response matters. I have been in situations where, in fact, I think the year where I gave my blood, my sweat, and half of my life. Not half of my life, I'm joking. But the year that I gave, no, it's not quarter. I'm not quantifying it. My life is in God's hands. But the year that I gave everything and I worked like I would, like my life depended on it, I did not get promoted that year. If you see the review that I wrote, when you write, it was like proper dissertation. I wrote it. I was like, I'm ready for any conversation. I did not get promoted that year. And immediately that happened, I was just like, come on, I beg. I'm looking for another job. These people don't even appreciate me. I was grumbling. And one day my husband just said, stop grumbling. Please, if you want to leave this job, leave. You eat like Stop grumbling. If you want to leave, leave. This one every night, every morning, you'll be grumbling in my ears. If you want to leave, leave. But if you're not leaving, then go back to what you were doing. Because then if you do it a second time, then they know that, okay, this wasn't a fluke. This person actually deserves this. And from there, it was just, from people lead to head of people for Nigeria to global head of people, because I did prove myself and they knew that, okay, this wasn't a fluke. So your response to situations, it doesn't have to be a job. It may be, you have to take a break from work because something happened, you relocated, you have to start afresh, or you start having kids, or, it could be anything, or you lost, you were just laid off. Something, you have a curveball thrown at you and you're like, how do I navigate this? Your response is very important. Don't be all negative, because really, what does negativity do? Nothing. I'm a worrier. I worry a lot about things. And my husband will say, what does I'm not a worrier.
You're not a worrier.
But like I would then talk about it, and my husband would be like, if you can't change something, like, leave it. But if you can change it, then be the change. I don't. So it's not when he has finished listening. So I have tried to do that also with my, with decisions that I take. So if you're not a tree, like they will say, move. If it's really bad, move. Change position. But if you can't move, then go back to being diligent. Don't make it feel like, oh, I wasn't promoted, so I'm going to stop giving 100%. Then they will have a reason not to actually promote you, because by then you're not giving 100%. So what you do matters. And then finally, don't be that person who is like, well, please, work is work, home is home. I don't interact with my colleagues. All like this, I do my 8 to 5. And if you don't interact with them, how will you know what's happening? How will you know? How will you know? How will you know? How will you know? So please interact with people. No one is an island. Interact with people. I'm not saying you should go to club with them every night. You don't have to go to club with them every night. You don't have to do this. But at some point, we are going out. They are going for drinks. Only you every time. No, I don't. If you can go there and drink water, you can go there and drink Coke if you don't drink alcohol. But go, because that's when a lot of things happen. And you will not know. Say, that one. If you call her now, she will say she can't come more. So interact with people. I think I would say those three things. But that is in addition to, of course, doing the work. Yes.
Working hard, doing your good job. Yeah. Thank you so much, Seun. Achake says, what are the practical ways to be visible when your line manager doesn't share your great work? You already, said something about how you took your mouth, but if it's your line manager that is hoarding your work, how do you manage that practically?
So I haven't had a line manager that's done that. But how do you do that practically? Pray. Start with prayer. Every principality and power standing in my way, God, please help me shift the person. Also, it depends on where you work. So I have been lucky to work in places where it's a flat structure. Conversations happen openly, and so it's difficult for anyone to really stifle what you have to say. So I would say it also depends on where you work. So if you happen to work in a place where the bottlenecks are plenty, man, I don't know. Prayer is the key. Prayer is the key. That's my advice. Hallelujah challenge.
Hallelujah challenge is coming.
Because I can't advise you to go over your manager's head. That one can also backfire. What if your manager self is even a bigger principality? So, I don't want to lie and give you aspire to perspire that I'm not sure of.
Yeah, no, I appreciate the honesty, and I'm sure people appreciate it as well. Somebody says, how do you know when it's time to leave an organization and move to another opportunity? And I think this is a very important question, because there were times when you even left organizations, and it wasn't as if there was another opportunity. In those moments, I said, this girl mad. But how do you know when it's time to leave an organization?
For me, you just know. It's like when you know it's time to when you know that this relationship is not saving me. But you're just trying.
Someone has been married for 22 years, but doesn't know those
You
things
just
again.
know if it's not serving you anymore, if it's taking your joy. You don't feel like getting up and going to work anymore in the morning. Everything just, you're on autopilot. In Nigeria, we're very resilient people. We do a lot of things for the money. It's just we need to make ends meet. But
You
you
gotta
need to
pay the
have an
bills.
out. You need to have a plan B. You need to start searching at that point. So I'm not saying leave your job and not have plan B, and your husband or your wife or your children will not be hungry at home. Don't say that she'll set that home. So if you can stay, please stay, but have a plan B. It's easier. I tell people it's easier to get another job when you're in one. I was lucky that even when I took when I took that decision, there was nothing else to do. But I was lucky. Not everyone is that lucky. So if you really, and then of course I had the support system that was paying my bills. So it was.
At this point, I want to give a shout out to Olafusi, Mr. Olafusi. Oh my goodness. An amazing,
Yes.
amazing, amazing man. Funded this one's lifestyle. She didn't have work. She was traveling abroad and entering Ross.
Yeah.
Even people that had jobs said, do you have money to go to
Yeah,
enter place to go anywhere? This unemployed babe was flexing. No, I think you said many things, and you've actually referenced your husband many times, and I think it's important to acknowledge him for supporting you through all of these things, and just being a real G. A real G. Yeah, no, absolutely. And shout out to Ayo. Yeah, so I think I can't get over the fact that you're unemployed and flossing. That's the life I aspire to.
That's
Let me
what
not be watching.
we all
Let me just be
aspire
enjoying.
to.
In fact, people
Yes,
aspire to be Emi Oga. You understand? You're just going to be you were Emi Oga. You know, say no. I want to be a career girl.
No, Papa did not deposit all
How's
those
that
things
going
in
for
us
you?
for me to just be flexing. I had to impact my world.
Oh shit. TMC.
But I think one thing also that I would talk about is,
Okay.
it's not always, sometimes people, people see you and it feels like, this person has it all together. It's not, the grass is not always green on the other side. It's not always rosy. I talked about, having never really experienced or not being able to get what I wanted. And there was a time that, I applied for this job in this fancy bank. My friends were the ones that sent me the link. I remember that I was in the US when they told me to apply for this job. I applied. This was also in my waiting period. Yeah, applied. Scaled the first hurdle, called, did phone, and I just want to talk about how this influenced my how I do my work today. Um, I I passed. There were several stages, and I kept passing and doing well. I was, in fact, even me. When you do something and you know that I got this. I knew I got it. Till the very final stage, there were 2 left out of over 5,000 people that had applied. According to them, were 2 left, and I knew I aced the interview. 2 weeks later, they sent me an email, rejection email, and all they said in that email was, "We are sorry." No, I don't even think they wrote "we are sorry." It was just, "You were unsuccessful" or something like that. You did not get the job. They were not nice about that email at all. And I invested months in this process. And at that point, my sister was with me when this happened, when I got this email. I actually, I think I ran mad in that instance. I was like, no, it's not possible. I was already spending the money. I had already bought clothes to resume. They said, you'll be traveling. I think the salary was maybe like 500K then. I was already spending the money. I had already envisaged how I was going to do all those things. So when I saw the no, it was like, did I not see well? I just started working. I was just working aimlessly in my estate. And my sister called my husband and said, better be coming home. Your wife is not normal anymore. And, he put me in the car, drove me around, talked to me. All those aspire to perspire talk, something, what is yours will come back to you. I was like, no, now. I prayed. I danced. That's why I chose a challenge. I like dancing. I danced. I praised. I did everything. So why did God let me get to the final stage? And then I didn't get the job. It was very upsetting, and that's why till today I'm so intentional about recruitment. I'm very humane about letting people down. The messages that I send, those that work on my team know that when it comes to recruitment is like my baby, because I know how I felt in that instant. Not getting feedback, not having a reason why you didn't, especially after all of those hurdles. That was one. I don't think I have ever felt or experienced loss. It felt like a real loss because, like I said, I was already spending the money. I don't think I've ever felt like that in my life. It was a very low point for me, but I got out of this, and the money that felt like the whole world to me at that time. Now you're just like, is that what you were really shouting all about? It's not chicken change, Kemi, but you're just like, is that what?
Endowment fund, VP Finance,
like, is that why you were
go
shouting?
Make sure she contributes.
So yeah, I have. Yeah, it's not been all rosy. Yeah. I have experienced my fair share, but God has been so faithful. The God factor, I can't take it out. One thing I was also going to say is prayer investments. When we were in school, I can't remember, it was either Muiwa or Reginald who talked about this at some point. They're like, you're in school. I remember that talk, but I just can't remember the face. It was either Muiwa or Reginald. They were talking about prayer investments, that you have all this time now in school to invest in your life. There will be points in time where you're just too tired. You're in such a low place, you can't really pray. You can't praise. You can't do anything. There's no energy for anything. These periods will help you. And I did that. In fact, it was like I knew that those periods were coming. My prayer bank, when I was leaving CU, was overflowing. And so it's like when you're retired and you're living on your passive income. Yes. So that's exactly how it was for me. There were times when, I couldn't even open my mouth to pray. Nothing was working. No inspiring talk was working. No preaching was working. But God was really faithful. He just said, let me pity this girl. She don't try. She don't try before.
Yeah. Mercy said no. Awesome. I have one last question. I want you to answer it. It's a practical question, and I think and then I'll recap and we'll be done in like 5 minutes. How do you grow visibility in a virtual or fully remote team and also build camaraderie?
This is the easiest one. So I have been working remotely since 2020. You should have asked me that question. Work from home or work from office?
And I had it on my list.
It's the easiest thing to do when you're working remotely. Any small thing, bang, bang, bang in Slack, you've seen my name. Any small thing, bang, bang, bang in Slack, you've seen my name. Any communication tool you are using, be posting. Whether it is, this is what I have. There's in my copy, there's nothing that you will not see. Dogs of branch, something, best teacup, best this, best. Just it's very easy to be visible, because you will do meeting. They cannot say don't unmute or don't put your messages in the chat box or don't do any of these things. Communication is it's such a powerful tool that people fail to use. Just keep communicating, be in their faces, be in their whatever tool you use, whether it's Google something, Google Meets, or what's the type? Yeah, Teams, thank you. Yes,
Teams,
whatever it
Zoom,
is that you
Slack.
Awesome. Use it very well. Let them see you. Let them know you are working. Sync your my calendar is synced to my Slack. So even as you're trying to type a message to me, you can say, okay, this person is busy, this person is online, this person is working, she's not sleeping, use all the things available, at your disposal. And yeah, communication communicate over. You see, when you think you're over communicating, you're actually just communicating adequately. What we think is over communication is just adequate communication. So if you like, over communicate. But yeah, let them see you.
Oh, fantastic! So this conversation is giving everything it's supposed to give more. Let me talk about my peers, my Gen Z peers. Thank you so much. I took so many notes, and I'm hoping that we'll be able to do a recap for people that could not join. But let me recap some of the key points that I'm taking away from this. Number one is your community is critical. Your community is important when the going is good and when things get tough. Your community will connect you to opportunities and will also encourage you to encourage you when things are not going well. And building these genuine friendships before you need them. Important. Building genuine friendships and connections early, before not for what you can get, but genuine, authentic connections is important. Volunteering is powerful. Almost all the opportunities you got were through volunteering. You were able to justify your career gaps because you were volunteering. And volunteering is very powerful because you were teaching those kids, English and math. It gave you a sense of purpose and helped you walk through that depressive waiting period, right? It's one of the things that kept you going. And so volunteering is important. You got connected to an opportunity because you volunteered to serve somewhere and you were able to get a job through that. Building your skills during your waiting period. There are investments you should make. Make your prayer investments during your waiting period. Make investments in your skills. Do your online courses. Do your professional exams. During your waiting period, explore, experiment. You will know the things you want to do and the things that you don't want to do. Speaking of connecting to opportunities, Koala has now institutionalized this. Somebody sent me a job. Somebody sent me a link. We have a job board that we update every single week. And that is a place where you can go and find opportunities. Maybe somebody will not email it to you, but you can go to the job board and find it there. Sometimes the opportunities that will catapult you to where you're going might not look like it, but put your leg in the door. Get your leg in the door. When you now enter, you can scatter it as you wish. And how do you scatter it? How do you prove yourself? It's diligence, it's doing excellent work, it's having visibility, making sure people know about the work that you've done. Don't go and talk about work you did not do, but talk about the work that you have done. Find ways, even if somebody else wants to steal your glory. When they say they are, you say, we worked on that together and I did X, Y, Z, 7, 8, 9. Like, you go into more detail. So it's clear that you are the one that did the job. How you respond to challenges is important. Negativity will not serve you. It will just continue to drain you. How you respond is important. If you don't like something, you either leave or you be the change that you want to see. You also talked about ensuring that you remain self-confident, right? And you don't allow envy and jealousy and all those things to rob you of the benefit of great friendships that you have. Communication is a big thing. When you think you're over communicating, you're just communicating. A good example is when you're talking, you're loudest to yourself, right? There are times when you think you're loud, but it's only because your ears are really close to your mouth. The people that are a distance away from you actually cannot hear you clearly. And it's the same thing with over communicating. Because you know it, you think, I think they all know. No, over communicate. Leverage virtual tools, leverage all the communication tools in your office to make sure, on your business, on your community, to make sure that your work is getting the right visibility. Your work will not speak for you, you will speak for yourself and for your work. If there are any other nuggets that you enjoyed, put it down in the comment section. We'll make sure we collate it and do a recap. Seun, thank you so much. I hope you enjoyed your
I don't know why I said no for so long.
I don't know why, but it's been a blessing. A lot of people are saying there's so much value. It was worth their lunch break, very holistic conversation, lots of really good feedback, powerful session, relatable and real, worthwhile session. Everyone is thanking Seun for sharing. Seun, they want to make you governor. I don't know which state, but they want to make you governor. This has been solid. Thank you for sharing your experience. Thank you. So many of you continue to say thank you for the emojis.
Thank you all for joining.
Seun, for being so true, so real, so vulnerable, and for sharing her lessons with us. There's something that she said that I want to just talk about. The reason for her career breaks were because, she decided to start a family. And I know that for some, women, it's a real fear, I want to have children. Will I get back? Sometimes that break, I think even if where you are today is, in fact, in some instances, far ahead of where you might have been if you had just not taken the break. So a detour can be a blessing, right? A detour can be a blessing. The fact that you have a break does not mean that's the end of your journey. There are things that will happen during that period that you will still get to this glorious destiny and this great vision that God has given to you. So don't be afraid to take the breaks if you need to take the break. Sometimes it's your health. Sometimes it's, again, relocation to a new place. Sometimes it's a family situation. Maybe there's a parent or a family member that's sick and you need to take a step back to take care of them. Those breaks are not the end. A detour can be a blessing. And I just want to, leave people with that. Beyond all the tips and all of this, a detour can be a blessing. And so don't run away from the breaks if you have to take it. Don't rob yourself of the opportunity of enjoying other things outside of your career or your business because you're afraid that if you stop, you won't get back on track. Even Formula One cars, they make pit stops. They stop, change the tire, do something, and get back on track. So a break is not the end of the journey, and a detour can be a blessing. I thank you for this extra 10 minutes that you've given us. Thank you, Seun. Thank you, everyone, for joining. Thank you for everyone who shared. I would try to save it. Please don't let technology save me tonight. So that we can watch the recap.
No,
but thank you. There's a feedback
Kemi.
form. Please make sure you
complete it. Everyone, thanks to Kemi.
No, I'm so glad.
Kemi chased me for this. I said no so many times, but I'm so glad that Kemi. Of course, you all know Kemi. It's very difficult to say no to Kemi. So thank you to Kemi, and thank you to all my.
Pay your dues
now. What do you mean? Okay, the other people, yes. And thanks to all my destiny helpers. I see some of them here. Reginald, Sheyi, Mimi, Kemi, number one, Shumaz, Sayo. Thanks, everyone. I'm so glad that I have, an amazing community. We've been friends for so long, and we continue to be friends. So, thanks to everyone.
Amen. All right. If you enjoyed this and you're a koala person, please pay your dues. Your dues is what powers the job board. Your dues is what powers prayer gathering that they used to find work. Your dues is what powers a lot of things that we do for the community. So please pay up your dues. Be a contributing member of the community. There are blessings attached to that. And hope to see you soon. All right, everyone. Have a lovely night and a great weekend ahead. Bye.